A nice warm welcome for Mr. Sheb, Wooley.
Thank you, and I will tell you it's a great honor to be the chairman of the U.S. party that's going to nominate John B. Russell tonight for our next president. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! John B. Russell. The B stands for bright. And I don't know why the hell he named him that. Now I do know. His folks were Indian. And the first thing his dad saw when he walked out of the teepee after the kid was born was the moon. He said, "Ooh, right." Said, "That's a good name for that fat little kid we got in here." And that's the way it started. Now, I'd like to touch on the next president's farm program a little bit by singing a farm song. We call this Little Farm Song. No, we don't. It's a true story about my paw. It is called That's My Paw, and John wanted me to do it. So if you'll give me a G chord, boys, a G. You don't know the song, do you? I'm already in a hell of a lot of trouble. Where you go? Here you go. Now back in the country where I was born, it's on the little old hillside farm. My pa raised 6 kids, and one of them was me, 3 quarters. And in the fall of the year, when the field got white, we start picking cotton about daylight on Saturday. I was taking on the town. And I know about dark when everything was still. We could tell the fall coming down the hill, but it's rare back and sound on something like this. We'd go out feeding with a lantern light, cause the load got crooked on Saturday night. And he'd come on down the hill and he'd stop in the yard. He'd set him down that old wagon seat. He'd say, "Boys, I'm hard to beat. 200 pounds steel and twice as hard. But I'm wild and woolly and full of fleas, and never been courage below the knees." And he'd rear back and belt out a course or two. Anybody else there except me and a little skeet. Just as tough as a hickory briar, I can dive deeper and come up drier. He did it too, right off of that wagon seat. Well, it shook him up when he hit the ground. The paw got up and kind of looked around, and reared back and let us have it again. That's my ball. Thank you very much. I'm going down here and speak to you from the podium for a few moments. You organize this party, I'll tell you that. Oh boy. This is a twofold meeting tonight. 2 purposes of it. One is to nominate our next president of the United States, as I mentioned before, Mr. John B. Russell. And I do know the truth about why he's named John B. Russell, because here's his uncle, Mr. Bright, sitting right down here. You don't look like an Indian to me. But the other purpose of this is to establish a medical fund to offset the expenses
hospital expenses that have been incurred by Rose Maddox, who recently had heart surgery and is in intensive care in a hospital in Bakersfield, California. I would like to take just a moment. Rose is, I'm sure most all of you know Rose Maddox and the famous Maddox brothers and Rose. If we could just take a moment of silence to utter a little prayer for Rose, that she'll recover. Amen. Thank you. Rose Maddox began her career back in 1933. You know, that's what Johnny put on this paper. I didn't know it been that long, but that's quite a while. That's before I was born. Believers, non-believers, all. It's way back there anyway. But she was a tremendous. How many of you ever saw the Maddox Brothers and Rose perform? There's a few of you old timers out there, but they were a dynamic group. Colorful, they dressed colorful, and they were a family group, of course. And they had a very successful recording career on Columbia Records and other labels. I did want to run for vice president myself. I have the qualifications. I'm from Texas, and I did serve in the National Guard. And I'll do it again if we have another war. Besides that, somebody's parked their white Ford Tempo, FCR 819, packed behind Paul Park, behind the club, and there's a couple necking in there, and we want to get rid of them. It's in a fire hazard zone. You want the damn thing burned, just leave it there. I had one of those Ford Tempos that ain't worth burning. Making your own movie, huh? I'll tell you what, it is a real pleasure to be here to represent the U.S. Party. That stands for us. I would like to ask a little more cooperation from our folks up here who haven't seen each other in a while, and they're kind of glad-handed each other. Just mouth it, just lip it, and we'll get a picture of you. We'll dump the words in later. That'll work wonderful. I would like to tell you a few of the things you're going to see that are firsts in our White House under President Russell, Mr. John B. Russell. Some of the first will be Madonna, Dolly Parton, Linda. I'm sorry, that's the guest list from his first ball. He's going to have a presidential ball, and he's going to have 2 cabinets and 2 pantries. The boy likes to eat, I'll tell you that. The summer White House will be a silver eagle. And I asked him about taxes, and he said, well, we'll stop in Dallas and Houston on the way through. They're going to replant the White House lawn in bluegrass and broadcast the Grand Ole Opry from there every Saturday night. Hey, like that, sir? Better do the bluegrass thing first. Yes, sir. And the vice president will actually be in charge of vice. Plan to have our own mafia, which I think we've had for some time. We haven't known about it that much. And we've asked, as a matter of fact, Mr. Russell personally asked Tricky Dicky to come out of retirement and be the godfather. Mr. Russell has said that when he is elected, that exercise will be illegal. And anyone caught dieting will be hanged by the neck. He just don't hold with that. But I do think he recently has changed his slogan. I like the old slogan best. It got to the heart of the matter. It stirs the blood. And I would like for us to say the old slogan a few times together. You know it?
No.
It rhymes and it's neat and it's nice. So let's say it together. Bullshit! I'm tired of it! Bullshit! I'm tired of it! Bullshit! I'm tired of it! Oh, that stirs the fire in my heart. I'm going to tell you what. We have a senator here from the state of confusion. My God. I saw him on the Colonel Sanders ad. Friend of Tricky Dickies.
Where do you keep it, son?
Yes.
Keep it.
Here he is, Senator Norm Ray.